Hi and welcome to C Programming. Today we're going to do the memo of a test. So let's open the test and we go to the question. So the question states, and let's read through it. A menu-driven C program is required to simulate a basic calculator capable of receiving hexadecimal base 16 digits inputs and providing a decimal base 10 answer output. The program must ask the user to choose the mathematical operator, add, subtract, multiply or divide from a menu and then for 2 hexadecimal inputs. These inputs must be of type char. The program must then process and convert these inputs in order to calculate the decimal answer. Finally, the program must display the answer to the user and then end. If an answer has a decimal remainder, then it must be displayed to the nearest 2 places after the comma. Okay, so processing the inputs. Inputs must be captured as characters, okay, and data type for further processing. Hint, consider the ASCII table provided in Appendix C. Okay, and this will be very important in the solution. Note that the character can be used just like integers in comparison statements when testing for ranges due to the ASCII codes. Okay, so if we compare input to 1 will have a certain value on the ASCII table. So if input is an integer and we compare with this character, we're comparing to integer values, but we'll get to that now. Will work if they were integers, hexadecimal to decimal. Okay, this is the hexadecimal conversion. A hex 0 to in decimal is 0, and then we go to 9 is 9, A is 10, B is 11, C, D, E, F, and then F at the end is 15. So that's our conversion table. Okay, this is just Boolean operators that's stated, and then sample program output. So basically the program must ask basic hexadecimal calculator, this must be displayed. Give 4 choices, then we need to grab the choice from the command prompt screen, enter the first hexadecimal value, then the second, and then the addition or subtraction or multiply or divide will be then done and the answer will be given. Okay, and there's another example output again. Okay, this is our mixture for mark allocation. Let's go down to our Appendix C, our ASCII table. So quickly, just to have a look, if a character is 0, it's got a decimal value of 48. 9's got a decimal value of 57. And then A, 65 to F, 70. Small letter A is 97 to F, 102. Okay, so let's keep that in mind. And then let's start with our solution. So first of all, I'm going to copy this output. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to open code blocks. I'm going to create a new file. And I'm going to save this file on my desktop. And I'm going to call this solution 1. Okay, we're going to save this. And I'm going to start with hash include, including our basics or our standard input and output library. I'm going to create my main function and return 0. So we're going to save this and I'm going to build and run just to make sure everything is working as it should. Okay, so there's our command prompt screen, everything executed, and we know we can continue. Okay, so back to our question. And then what I will do is I'm going to work side by side here. Okay, and let's zoom out just a little bit so that you can see the whole question here. Okay, so let's start off by just doing our basic output here. So we will start off with a printf statement. Okay, and this printf statement will say, the first one is all caps basic hexadecimal calculator, okay, and then 2 new lines. Okay, we can see those 2 new lines, 1, 2. Okay, next line, what we will do is we're going to have a printf statement again. And this one will be 1 for add. Okay, then a new line. And then it's going to be subtract. I'm just going to copy and paste this quickly. So 2 for subtract. Let's go another one. And the next one is 3 for multiply. And then 4 for divide. Okay, so we first just copy the output. Oops, spelling mistake. And then after that, we're going to ask the user to give us some input. So we're going to say choice. Okay. So we've copied now the output here. So let's save this and let's quickly build and run just to check how everything works. There's basic hexadecimal calculator, add, subtract, multiply, divide, choice, and then we're done with our program. So next up, we need to go and grab an input from the user, choice. So what we're going to do is we're going to create variables. And we always create our variables at the beginning of our program. Just good programming practice. So we're going to have a choice. Okay, and this choice will then determine if we're doing add, subtract, multiply, divide. It was not specified if the choice input, let's quickly just go and check. From a menu for 2XML, these inputs must be of type char. Okay, so it was specified. These inputs 1, 2, 3, and 4 must be of type char. Okay, so let's go back. So this input must be of type char. So what we will do is we will create a char variable called choice. Okay, and then what we do after this is then we will use a get char input choice dot get. Okay, this is our get function that will get a character from the screen, and then just to print out the screen, otherwise the user won't get that feedback that a variable was then actually received. Okay, now I'm just going to add a new line. So I'm printing out just the value that the actual user entered. Okay, so let's quickly save this and we build and run again. So as you can see, I'm constantly building and running. Okay, so 1, then 1 was entered and then it stops. Okay, great. So that's how we want this to work. You also could have done this by using a scanf statement, but if you're using a scanf statement with characters, remember also first you need to go and flush, and then you do your scanf. Okay, so remember flush and then scanf if you didn't do this with a get char. But in any case, that's 2 different ways of doing this. Okay, after we have our get, then we ask the user enter the first hexadecimal value 0 to 9, A to F, or A to small letter A to F. Okay, so this makes it a little bit different. We need to check for capital and for small letter characters. Okay, so what we will do is we will say a printf. Okay, and as you can see, it's we're going to print out choice 1 and then add another new line there. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy and paste this. Printf, enter the first hexadecimal value 0 to 9, A to F. Okay, and then we're going to grab the input again by using this same idea of getting the value here. So what we need is we need another input variable. So let's call it num1, and we also need a num2. Okay, and this is then for the first hexadecimal input and for the second hexadecimal input. Okay, so what we will do is I will go and grab the input, and I'm going to just copy and paste this and change this to num1 and num1 and take away that extra new line. Okay, and then that's it. Okay, we need to enter the first hexadecimal value 0 to 9, A to F, or small letter A to F, and then we get the input, and then we also go and display the input just to the user, just to give him feedback. So let's quickly build and run and see if everything works as we assume. So let's say enter 1 and then enter the first hexadecimal value, then 1, then it's done. Okay, so what we can do is we can copy and paste this idea again, and we can say enter the second hexadecimal input. Okay, and then we're going to grab it inside num2 and num2. Okay, so now if we're going to build and run, let's see what's going on here. So we enter 1, we enter our first hexadecimal value, and then our second, so it's 1 and 6, and then we can go and do the actual calculation. But before we can do the calculation, num1 and num2 is character values. Now it can be 0 to 9, A to F, or A to F. So how would we do addition with a character? Okay, so we can't. So what we will do is we will go back to our ASCII table, and we're going to check here 0 to 9 is 48 to 57. Okay, so if we want to convert an input from that's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, if that was characters 0 to 9, and we want to go and convert this to integer values, we need to minus 48. Okay, so if the user entered 0, we're going to say 48 minus 48 will give you 0. If the user entered 1, we're going to say 49 minus 48. So we're always going to take the character minus 48. Okay, so let's see how we would do this. Okay, so I'm going to do the conversion after the input, and I will say here let's say convert char to integer. Okay, and then before I can do the actual conversion, I need to go and create two values for myself here. Okay, and I'm going to create two integer values, int val1, int val2. Okay, and these will be my converted values. So what I will do is I'm going to say if, okay, after the input, I'm going to say if the number 1 is bigger than and equal to 0. So remember the hint that the question, in the question, let's go up. The hint in the question was we can do comparisons with input is bigger than 1 and input is smaller than 5. Okay, so that was our hint. So what we can actually do is we're going to ask if num1 is bigger than and equal to 0. Okay. And, okay, we're going to ask if num1 is smaller than and equal to, and I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger here. I'm just going to move up. Okay, so just to have space. And I'm going to say if num1 is smaller than and equal to 9. So now, if I go back here, let's zoom out a bit. I know it's in the value of our ASCII table. So if I zoom in quickly, it's 48 to 57. Okay, so if num1 is bigger than 0 and smaller than 9, I can say the val1 will be num1 minus 48. Okay, and that's my conversion. That was my basic conversion from character now to integer. Just to also make sure, okay, this will work, but just to make sure that everything works correctly, it's also a good idea just to typecast this character to int before you do the calculation or the conversion calculation. Okay, so what we can do then is, if it was not 0 to 9, we can ask again. Okay, and now what we will ask, and it's going to be the same idea, is we're going to ask if num1 is bigger than and equal to a, and is num1 smaller than and equal, let's just make the spacing same here, smaller than and equal to f. Okay, so now we're working with capital letters here. Okay, and what we will do is we do the same idea, int, we typecast. Okay, and then how much do we need to minus for A to F, capital letter A to F? So let's quickly check. Okay, there is capital letter A, and it's 65. So if we want to change A to 10, how much do we need to change? So A in character is decimal 65, and we need to change A to 10. So how much do we need to minus from 65 to make this a 10? Okay, so we need to minus 55. 65 minus 55 gives us 10. So if we want to convert A to 10, we need to minus 55. If we want to convert B to 11, we need to minus 66 with 55, and then we get 11. So 67 minus 55 gives us 12, 13, 14, 15. So that conversion is with minus 55. Okay, and then this same idea is then again applicable for small letter a and small letter f. But now we need to go to small letter a. Small letter a is 97, and we need to convert small letter a to 10. So how much do we need to minus from 97? We need to minus 87. Okay, so we minus 87. And there you have it. There's our conversion from char to integer. And if we know that this works perfectly, what we can go and do is we can just go and copy and paste this and change num1 to num2. Okay, just a disclaimer, if you do copy and paste like this, always make sure that you change everything correctly, because copy and paste mistakes happen. Okay, so num2, num2, val2, num2, 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 val2, num2, 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 val2, num2. Okay, so everything is now perfect, and this is now our conversion. Okay, so we've done our conversion. Okay, and then after we have done our conversion, then we can go and do our calculation. So if it's a addition, we need to go and do addition. If it was subtraction, subtraction, and so forth. Okay, so let's quickly go back to our question here. Okay, let's go back to our question. So it was asked to do the input, then we did the conversion, and let's quickly just make sure how to do everything. Yeah. The program must then process these inputs and calculate. Finally, the program must display the answer and then end. Okay, processing the inputs. Okay, so I just want to quickly check here. Yes, switch. Demonstrate correct syntax of switch, header and body. So we just need to go and make sure we need to use a switch to determine 1, 2, 3 or 4 for the add, sub, multiply or divide. Okay, so let's go and do a switch statement. And a switch statement is actually very easy to go and implement. So we say switch, and switch will be then for this choice variable. So we're going to say switch choice. And then we're going to ask if choice, in case choice is equal to 1, we're going to do something. Okay, and that's how we will go and do this. So we're going to say break, and we're going to do our calculation here. Okay, so what we can do is I'm going to copy and paste this quickly just so that we can go through the solution very quick. Okay, so there's our brackets, everything is fine. So 2, 3 and 4. Now, if we go to our solution, always see that we're doing division, and then if we do division, we see dividing the two values, adding the two values. So what we will do here is with a printf statement, first of all, we're going to say addition is going to be addition adding the two values. Okay, new line. Okay. And I'm just going to add quickly new lines here, add my printfs here, just to make everything nice and neat. So we say adding the two values, and after that we can actually go and do the calculation. And it's actually very simple. We can use a printf statement, and what I'm going to do is, let's quickly go full screen here, and I'm going to say the decimal answer is %d plus %d is equal to %d. Okay, and then what we will do is we will say val1 is for this one, the converted to decimal, and then val2, the second value input, and then the answer is val1 plus val2. So we do all the calculation in line. Okay, and this is actually easy. Now if we have this up and running, we can just go and print this, and we can say subtraction, and then we can say subtracting the two values. And then we can say the decimal answer is %d minus %d is value 1, value 2, value minus. Okay. So let's quickly first double check that everything is working for addition and subtraction before we go on. So let's say add, we're going to add, and we're going to add 1 and 1. So 1 and 1 gives us 2. Okay, so that was easy. Let's check if our hexa values are working. So let's say 5. Oops, okay, sorry. There's no option 5. We're going to do addition, sorry. 1, and I'm going to say input 5, and then I'm going to say input B, small letter B. So small letter B is 11. So 5 plus 11 gives us 16. So let's quickly go and do capital letter B just to see that it's the same. So we're going to do addition 5, and capital letter B is still 11. So perfect, we're good. Okay, and so what we can do is we can go on and we can go and actually do the multiplication, multiplying the two values. And what we can do is we can copy and paste this, and we can say the decimal answer is %d times %d, and this will be then changed to multiply. And then for divide, we can do the division as well. And that's actually, division is dividing the two values. And then one thing is we need to just make sure when we do the division, okay, we can't display a percentage %d, because when we do division, it sometimes happens that we get comma values, and most often we get common values with division. So we change this to division and division here, but we need to change this to a float, so we typecast, and we need to change that percentage %f to a float as well. And then if we went to the question, it said to the first two values after the comma, so we need to say 0.2 there. So now if we save this and we run, okay, let's do subtract quickly. Let's say f minus 5 is 15 minus 5 is 10, perfect. Okay, and we run this again for multiply, and we say what a times 2 is 10 times 2 gives us 20. Okay, and that's perfect. And let's say for the last time divide, and we say small letter a divided by 3 gives us 3.33. That's perfect. And that's it, ladies and gents. That's the solution for a hexadecimal calculator in our first test. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you soon.